Hello first graders, welcome to a new math lesson. Today we are in lesson 5, topic 15. Alright, in the previous lessons you learned about some plane shapes. Today we're going to learn about how to make new plane shapes from other plane shapes. So the activity will be using pattern blocks to combine plane shapes to create a new plane shapes. So let's get our plane shapes. Remember, we have trapezoid, we have hexagons, we get rhombus, we get triangles, squares, rectangles, all these. So we're going to use some of the shapes, that small shape, to create another plane shapes. All right. So the lesson says making new shapes from shapes. How can we use pattern blocks to make new shapes? So these are the pattern blocks that we have. And this is the shape that we're gonna use the pattern blocks, different shapes, to create and make this rhombus, as we have number 1. So for example, I can use trapezoid, and what shape left for me? Triangle. Very good. So I can use trapezoid and triangle to make the outside of my shape, which is the rhombus. So I use trapezoid and triangle. I'm gonna draw my trapezoid. And that will be, I used 2 new shapes to make the old shape I have. I used 1 trapezoid and 1 triangle. So let's write here. I used 1 trapezoid and 1 triangle. Awesome. Let's see what we have. We have here trapezoids. Now I need to use different plane shapes. I can use same plane shape more than 1 time, 3, 4, or maybe I can use more than 1 plane shape. So over here we use 2 different plane shapes. We use trapezoid and we use triangles. Over here I'm going to use 1 shape more than 1 time. So I'm going to use triangles, and let's see how many triangles will make the trapezoid. 1, 2, 3. So I can make trapezoid by using the trapezoid shape, or I can just use 3 triangles to make that trapezoid. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna remove and we're gonna trace one by one. So this is a 1. We're gonna draw a line here, and then putting the second one back, I'm gonna draw the line there, and then this is the 3rd one. So how many triangles? 1, 2, 3 triangles. So let's say I made the trapezoid using 3 triangles. See, it's fun. All what we do is just use our plane shapes and use different plane shapes to make the shape that we have drawn already for us. Okay, let's turn the page and see what we have inside. Alright, as we see here, users use smaller shapes to make a large shape. So we see the hexagon, and then they use 2 trapezoid to make the hexagon. So what you do first, trace a large shape. This is a large shape, you trace. Then use smaller shapes to cover the tracing part, and then trace the smaller shapes. Alright, so let's do this together. I have here my I traced the hexagon, but I'm going to trace another one for you here in front of you. So I'm going to just trace. So this is, hold it tight, put my hand in the middle and make sure that it's not moving. And then I trace my hexagon. Alright, then what's next? I need to use 2 trapezoids. So I'm going to use 2 trapezoid to make that hexagon So 2 small plane shapes to make the big one. So I used 2 trapezoid to make my hexagon. So I'm gonna take one, I'm gonna draw a line like this. So now let's make 1, 2 trapezoid. So that's exactly what we have here. Okay, let's go for guided practice and try to answer and learn what we have. Use pattern blocks to make each shape. Draw the shapes you used. So this is the shape that we're gonna make. This is the shape that we have to use, and then we're gonna trace and draw. So the first one is done for us. What we do, we're just gonna go over it. So this is a hexagon, and this is a rhombus that we have to use. All right, let's see how many rhombus we can use to make that big shape. All right, so this is my big shape hexagon. I'm gonna put one here, and I'm gonna put one more rhombus here, and then I'm gonna put one more rhombus there. So 3 rhombus make that shape of that hexagon. All right, so what we need to do, you need to trace this one, because this one is done for us. Number 1 is this example is done for us, so we tracing it because we're gonna do that for the following exercise. All right, let's go for number 2. All right, what do we have? Hexagon. What do we need to use? Triangle. So first we're gonna trace the big shape, which is that hexagon. So I put my finger like that, make sure it's straight and make sure that it's not moving. Then I'm just go around with my pencil. That's called tracing. Remember I told you for the blocks, if you don't have them, you can just trace the shapes that you have, because this is the accurate side that you're gonna use, and use color paper, trace them, cut them with the assistance of an adult, and then you're gonna have them and you can use them for the whole lesson or topic for this, for topic 15 actually. All right, what do we need to use? Triangles. So these are the triangles. I don't know how many, so I'm gonna try using small shapes and these triangles to make that big shapes. So let's see how many we need. I'm gonna put them next to each other together in a way to over the shape that I have, or the shape that I drew or traced. Okay, so I don't need this one. So how many? I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 triangles made a hexagon. Let's put it over the picture that drawn for me. As you see, same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 triangles, 6 small triangles make that hexagon for me. So now I need to draw this one or trace it. So I'm gonna use one by one and I trace it. So I can just go like that, and then I close here, and then I put the other one. So this is my second triangle, and go there. So that's make 1, 2, 3 triangles. Now I need to do the same. So I'm gonna do this for the second part. First I have to draw here, and then I'm gonna draw this. I'm just drawing exactly what I had before. That it showed me 6 triangles as I try. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I use 6 small triangles to make my big shape, which is the hexagon. And why I used triangles? Because that's what they asked me to. Right? Let's see what we have for do you understand? All right, do you understand? How do you use shapes to make new shapes? How do we use small shapes to make new shapes? What did we do? Exactly what we did in the first lesson, first question 1 and 2. What did we do? We traced the shape, we traced the big shape or the large shape, and then we put all the small shapes together to make the new shape. So let's say we'll write this down. what we're gonna say, first we're gonna trace the large shape. We're gonna trace the large shape as we did in number 1 and number 2. The hexagon was the big shape or the large shape. Then we're gonna cover the drawing, and we cover the drawing with the small shapes. So we cover the drawing with the smaller shapes that we had. So we used different shapes, and then put the shapes together. And what happened? We made a new shape. So we do that to make the new shape. Because remember, the name of our lesson is we using new shapes, making new shapes from different shapes. Remember, making new shapes from smaller shapes or different shapes. All right, so let's go and see what we have next here. Page 489 and exercise number 3. All right, independent practice. Use pattern blocks to make each shape. Draw the shapes you used. Make this shape. So this is a shape that we need to make, trapezoid. Use this shape. We're using triangles. Oh, I know, this is my trapezoid. I have it here. I'm gonna trace the shape that I have to use. Okay, that's the fun part, that take your time, and that's really make you focus and concentrate on holding the shape good with your hand and try to trace it. So this is the trapezoid, and then we need to use triangles. So 1, I don't know how many triangles, but we'll see. 2 and 3. So this is a trapezoid, the picture I have. Let me see if I used 3 triangles. See, I can use something else. I can use rhombus and triangle. 1 rhombus, 1 triangle. But they want me only to use triangle, so that's why I'm gonna use what they ask me to. So this says here, use this shape. So this is the shape we need to use. So this is 1, 2. I can have the third one here. So we made trapezoid using 3 triangles. All right, so we have to draw this, trace these triangles over there in a trapezoid. So I'm gonna remove this 2. I'm gonna trace the first one. Then I'm gonna put it back again. This third one, and now I have 1, 2, 3 triangles. So I use 3 triangles to make that trapezoid. All right, number 4, we have rhombus. Now you get the ideas. What are you gonna do? You're gonna trace your rhombus, and then we're gonna use the triangle and see how many triangles we will use. All right, so let's do it. I traced my rhombus. Now I have to use triangles, so let me see how many triangles I'm be able to use to make. All right, so 2 triangles make a rhombus, so I'm gonna draw a line like that to have 2 triangles. So 1, 2 triangles made the rhombus, that shape that they want me to do. All right, okay, let's go for number 5, algebra. Use pattern blocks, draw the next 3 shapes. So this is the pattern, and we will be able to do that by just looking. Square, square, triangles, square, square, triangles. What comes next? Square, square, triangles. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna draw squares, another squares, and triangle. So did I complete my pattern? Yes. Square, square, triangle, square, square, triangle, and square, square, triangles. And you can color also, color the squares orange and the triangles green, so you have the same pattern in shape and colors. Awesome. Let's turn the page and see what we have next. All right, more activity, making the shape using different shape or new shapes. So let's see. Use pattern blocks. Draw the blocks you used. Which two shapes can make trapezoid? So we need to use two different shapes. All right, remember we did before using triangle and three triangles. Let's see if we use, first let me draw it. So I'm gonna trace it here. Right, I'm gonna trace my trapezoid. I know a trapezoid had 4 sides, but they're not all the same length. So this is my trapezoid, and I need to use two different shapes. I know that I can use 3 triangles, but I need to do something different. So let's see if I use one rhombus. That leave me with, I know the shape triangle, so I will put 1 triangle, and that make the trapezoid, right? So let's draw this one. Put away the triangle, draw the line to do the trapezoid, and now I have 1 rhombus and 1 triangle. So I'm gonna say I used 1, I'm gonna write it down here. So I'm gonna say that I used 1 rhombus and 1 triangle. Right here, can say 1 rhombus and 1 triangle. All right, awesome. Let's go for number 7. 2 of which shape can be used to make hexagon? So that's mean you have 1 shape, but you're gonna use 2 of it. So which shape can make this? We did this a lot. I know if this is my hexagon, I need 2 shape. Of course, not the triangles because they're small. So I cannot use this big shape with only 2 triangles. Also for that rhombus, I need more than 2. But trapezoid, it's going to be a right shape that I can use 2 of it to do my hexagon. So what did we use? Trapezoid. So what we need to do, just trace the trapezoid here twice because we used 2 of the trapezoid. So I'm going to just tracing my trapezoid. Again, I told you all what you need to do is just trace these shapes from your activity sheets and use colored paper, and then it would be yours to use them for this topic. So these are my 2 trapezoids. All right. Number 3. Number 8. 3 of which shape will make trapezoid? I need 3 of 1 shape that will make trapezoid. So I have my trapezoid. Let's see if I used rhombus. I can use more than 1. So it's not going to be rhombus. Let's see if triangle would be. Yes, triangles. So 3 triangles will make 1 trapezoid. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to circle D because D is the right choice. So you circle D. All right, let's go for number 9. Use 3 or more pattern blocks to make a new shape. Draw the shape. So here you can do what you like. You can use, for example, hexagon, and then you need to use 3 or more pattern blocks. So this is the pattern block that I'm gonna use. So this is the shape I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use hexagon. So I'm gonna trace it. And then they said use 3 or more pattern blocks. So I need 3 or more. So I'm gonna use maybe 1 rhombus. I see a space here for a triangle, and then I see a trapezoid. So what did I use? I used 3 different shapes. I used triangle, rhombus, and trapezoid. Alright, so you can do something else. You can do whatever you like. You can say, for example, because it's 3 or more. So you can do that. You can even move the trapezoid and you add more of the triangles, or you can just keep it like that. So that's the shape I made. I made hexagon shape. This is a large shape, and I use 3 different patterns. All right. Okay, first graders, today's lesson was really fun. We did a little tracing and drawing, and we learned how to make new shapes from other shapes, how to make new shapes from shapes. So how we used our blocks to make that shape. So we had, for example, that blue shape, that rhombus, and we used triangle and trapezoid. Over here we had a trapezoid. I made the same shape trapezoid using 3 triangles and so on. All right, that was it for today, first graders. Thank you. Bye-bye.